Hello everyone, I'm here from Sports 365. Here with me once again is my colleague Alex. So, Heat and Nuggets played Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Nuggets were up 3 games to 1. The Heat ended up going after winning both games in Miami. Fortunately, Nuggets won again, so they are 2023 NBA champions when the finals 4 games to 1. They won Game 5 94 and 89, so it's quite a low scoring game. Just kind of highlights one of the Heat's major problems in this entire series. But anyway, so Nuggets are NBA champions. Heat are eliminated, and that concludes the Heat's 2022-2023 season. So before we dive any further, what are your overall thoughts on this result and how the series turned out?
Well, it's always disappointing to lose in the finals, but I do feel like we did well to even get to the finals. And, of course, we got a chance to win. Of course, I was rooting for the Heat to win. But, the Nuggets are just objectively a better team, so I did kind of expect them to win, to be honest.
Yeah, the Nuggets definitely have more talent than the Heat. They have a good coach. Obviously, I'd say Malone isn't as good a coach as Spo because he really isn't. Doesn't have a resume to be as good a coach as Spo, but still a good coach. Obviously, Jokic is one of the best players in the league, and arguably the best player in the league. Already won MVP, first team All NBA, all that. And Murray, even though he hasn't made an All-Star team so far, always plays really well in the playoffs. He's one of those players that, like Jimmy, tends to step up the team in the playoffs. Not to mention the Nuggets actually have a really good bench as well. Players like, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, for example, in addition to others, were solid contributors. So yeah, of course it's disappointing. Of course the Heat, possible for the Heat to win the series, but I think especially without a healthy Tyler Hero, we're really stacked against the Heat, and obviously not on home court advantage. So yeah, I was definitely up for well. Unfortunately, it wasn't one that the Heat could win, but he did really well just to make it in the finals because he beat at least two teams that most people didn't expect him to beat. The Bucks and Celtics. I think a lot of people were picking the Heat to beat the Knicks, which obviously they did. But yeah, so disappointing, but not entirely disappointing. So Jimmy and Bam were both good for the Heat. Times obviously much better than good throughout this playoff run. However, in the NBA Finals, at least this time around, Bam was really the Heat's best player. Jimmy had good games, in the finals for sure, but overall, Bam was really the one who stepped up even more. And to be honest, it's kind of it's really good to see that because obviously Jimmy's great, but he is getting older. He has had a lot of injuries in recent seasons, and the Heat really needed Bam to step up in this playoff run, show that he can be the best player on the team, at least for one series in the final. He can withstand that pressure and be the best player. So really good to see. So, what are your all thoughts on Bam really stepping up and just demonstrating just how good he can be in the final series?
Yeah, I think it was great to see because obviously Bam's the most important player for our future, with the second most important player being Tyler Hero. As you said, Jimmy's getting older. I think that kind of started to show in the finals. I think maybe he was running out of gas a little bit after being amazing up until the finals. And frankly, I think this is probably Jimmy's last great playoff run, so it's a shame we couldn't get him a championship. But it is positive to see Bam play so well on the biggest stage.
Yeah, I think each could have played a part as far as why Jimmy didn't play as well in the finals as he did earlier in the playoffs. He also did suffer that injury against the Knicks. Well, so it's possible that even during the finals, that still hadn't really fully healed. Injuries like that can take a long time to heal. Obviously, he was continuously playing more and more games. So who knows? Unfortunately, I don't know if Jimmy's going to be able to string together performances like this next season in the playoffs. Hopefully he can, but I don't know. It's really good to see Bam step up. Obviously, he's the core of the Heat's future. He's really the player who carries the Heat's hopes for winning a title on his shoulders the most, and future prospects. So yeah, it was great to see him step up, and he really answered a lot of questions in his finals. So he didn't win them, but there's still definitely a lot of positives from this playoff run. So moving on to some of the reasons why the Heat win the series. As he previously stated, the Nuggets have home court advantage, intimidating home court advantage, like a physical home court advantage, and what they have to do in Denver and everything. Really good coach in Mike Malone. Just a great team overall, talent and roster construction and everything. But one of the main problems for the Heat was scoring, especially bench scoring. A lot of the bench players that played well for the Heat didn't really step up in the finals, and the Heat only had 27 points from their bench players in Game 5, which obviously contributed to the Heat losing that game and getting eliminated in that game. So bench scoring was definitely a big issue for the Heat throughout this entire series. So what are your overall thoughts on that disappointing performance from the Heat bench in Game 5 and really throughout the finals against the Nuggets?
Yeah, it was a big factor in us losing in 5. For bench had scored more. I don't know if we still would have won the series, but we could have taken it to more than 5 games. I think that's one of the risks you run if your bench scoring will depend on making threes. Making threes is really unreliable. You can have a couple cold shooting nights in a row, and then you can lose an entire playoff series because of that. That was definitely one of the biggest factors. So hopefully we can get some more bench scoring, and hopefully we can get like a more reliable bench scorer who isn't a streaky 3-point shooter.
Yeah, I think overall the 3-point shooting is definitely part of it. Also part of it, no disrespect, but part of it is that the Heat bench could you kind of just use a talent upgrade, to be honest. I respect these players for getting where they are in their careers. Some of them earning big contracts and being on some Heat teams that have, a couple of them have been on multiple Heat teams in the finals, specifically Duncan Robinson. But I think the Heat bench could definitely use an overhaul. Again, no disrespect to any players on that bench. But yeah, the difference between the two bench units was massive. The Nuggets bench played really well. Like I said, specifically KCP, he played really well in the finals. That definitely helped the Nuggets win the title. But in general, I think it's definitely a big factor, and I think just in general, kind of just scoring in general against a Nuggets team that's it was quite good in defense, at least in the playoffs. Definitely improved a lot, especially in the finals. So yeah, it's definitely a big factor. Unfortunately, he bench did not really step up in the finals. He needed them to. So another thing in terms of defense was that Jokic and Murray oftentimes were too tough for the Heat to stop. There were some games where both of them played really well. There were some games where Jokic really played really well. But overall, I don't think the Heat really had the defense, and maybe in Jokic's case more like the size to really stop Jokic or slow him down as much as one possibly can. So that was definitely a huge factor in why the Nuggets won the series. Jokic had 28 points and 16 rebounds in Game 5, in addition to 4 assists. So obviously shows the impact that an MVP caliber player can have and did have throughout this series. So that was, they were obviously the two biggest problems for the Heat's defense in the finals, and they couldn't really effectively handle it most of the time. So what are your thoughts on Jokic and Murray and the Heat really struggling to stop the two of them?
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the most dangerous offensive duos in the league, if not the most dangerous offensive duo in the league, so they're very difficult to stop. I was hoping we would do a little bit better job slowing them down. Bam, hopefully slowing down Jokic a little bit more, and getting some of the other players hopefully slowing down Murray a little bit more. But when they're playing that well, especially when they're having games in which they're both playing well, very difficult to stop it. And it's obviously one of the main reasons that they won the championship.
Yeah, correct. And Bam is one of the best defensive players in the league. I don't want to take anything away from him. And offensively, I mean, he just showed how good he is. I think he put everyone on notice about how good he is in these finals, even though he did win the title. But against someone like Jokic, as good of a competitor as Bam is, his comparative lack of size compared to Jokic. That's really a problem because Jokic can just kind of get into positions where he wants to score because, again, Bam will do everything he can, but just doesn't have the size to really effectively stop Jokic from one-on-one a lot. So that was a really big issue. And, putting other players on him that, may have matched up well in terms of size, like Kevin Love or something, would cause other problems because he's not really a very good defender overall. So the Nuggets would take advantage of him defensively in other ways. So that wasn't really that good an option either. So yeah, he kind of just didn't really have the personnel to stop Jokic, especially, and Murray had some big games too. So both of them are playing like that, and it's very hard to stop the Nuggets, especially when they're the first NBA Finals ever. Got all the crowd behind them. They got home court advantage. So yeah, it wasn't really surprising that it was too tough for the Heat to stop them in general. Now, the last thing I want to say, as far as the series goes, I think Mike Malone really established himself as one of the better coaches, one of the best, but one of the better coaches in the league. Made a lot of good adjustments for the Nuggets throughout their playoff run, helped the team, remain composed and everything in the finals. The first time ever first time winning the title in that series. And I think he really proved his coaching credentials. And Malone was definitely the best coach that he faced throughout the finals, and that definitely played a part in Nuggets winning the title. So real quickly, what are your own thoughts on the coaching job that Malone did for the Nuggets throughout this playoff run?
Yeah, I agree. He did an excellent job throughout the playoff run, especially in the finals. Made some good adjustments, and he kept the team composed, even though they hadn't made it to the finals before.
Yeah, agreed. So there you have it. The Nuggets NBA champions. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to win it all this season. They had a great run, and definitely be looking to upgrade their team in order to get over the hump and get that title next season. But we're able to do it this time. Congratulations to the Nuggets. They deserve it. They played great basketball for the entire season and are deserving champions. So not being a sore loser here, but disappointed. But Heat are definitely going to be active in the off season, and just a lot of stuff coming up. So I'm looking forward to see what Heat do in the off season.
Yep, me too.